Hello, welcome back. This is Morris Dimba, and today I'm going to show you how we can add vertical braces on a simple portal frame like this you're seeing on the screen here. And before we add vertical braces, we want first of all to fix the tie beams because the vertical braces will be attached on the tie beams. Now, let's begin. I'll come to steel here and pick on the steel beam there, and I'll zoom at the bottom end here until I see a red snapping point there, which indicates that that is the right intersection point. Now I'll snap on that spot and move all the way to the other end, and until I'll mouse over this intersection until I see a red snapping point. So I'll snap on that spot. So the moment I snap on that spot, you'll be able to see a beam has been already created there. So to check the profile of this particular beam, you just double click on it. So double click on it will bring up a dialog box for this particular beam. So we will be able to see that the profile name is IPE 300. So if you're willing to change this profile to a different one, you can click this icon here that with a symbol of a beam. So just click on that, and you give it some time for the profile catalog to load. So I want to change this because I don't want I don't want IPE 300. I'll prefer 180. So I'll go ahead and select 180 and give it an OK by clicking a select button here. So once I've done so, you'll be able to see that IPE 180 has been selected right there. So just go ahead and click apply or set that as a default. So just click apply and give it an OK right there. So we have this in place. So we want to offset this all the way up here, closer to the haunch here. So I'm going to select on the beam here, then I'll right click and come to special move, then I'll pick linear option. So I'll left click and hold and drag this dialog box for the move command. Then I'll come to Z axis here. I'll change that to 0. Always make sure when using special copy, special move, only feed the dimension on the axis that you intend to move the object to, then the rest should remain at 0. Like in this particular case, I want this beam to move at a z-axis at a distance of 5.4. So the rest will remain 0. So I'll feed here 5400 or 5450 right there. Then I'll go ahead and click move. So if I close that dialog box, then right click and come to interrupt, I'll be able to see that it has moved slightly upward. So still on the position it is now, it's still it will clash, and I mean it is clashing already with some parts of this column. Now I'll add another measurement or distance to bring it slightly up to avoid collision with these column parts. So I'll come to move here special, then click on linear and add. Now this time round I will not use this full measurement, but I'll use just part of it now. So instead of 5.4, because we are already in on 5.4 point, now I'll just add maybe 200 millimeter up. So if I click 200 millimeter up, I'll move slightly to this particular location. So let me just rotate that point. So here we are. And what we want to do now is to create a connection that will not collide with any part of this connection you see inside here. So when doing this, you have to be very careful to avoid any collision. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for a connection that will connect the beam, this beam, and the column. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll come to, and first of all, minimize this base plate connection. So I'm going to look for a beam connection macros. So I'll come to beam connection macros here. Then I have a variety of them here. So I'll be able to pick on the appropriate one. So in my case, this stiffened end plate is the appropriate. And then I'll select on it by left clicking. Then I'm going to select the column, then come to the beam. Then I'll right click to to create a connection there. So if I bring close, you will be able to see that there is a connection here, and there's a slight collision. You can see this stiffener has already make it harder for these bolts to be tightened. So what we'll do, we'll just either get rid of that stiffener or just delete it completely. Now, what I'm going to do first of all, before I delete it, I want to add some bolts here. I'll double click on the bolt here. I'll select the connection first, then press M button on my keyboard twice. Press twice, M twice. Then the moment you press it twice, enter on your keyboard. So this will bring the dialog box for this particular macro. So in here, we are going to customize our settings here. So I'll come, my point of interest, just the arrangement of the bolts. I want to add some bolts instead of the default single bolt here. So I'll come to bolts, then bolts material, I'll just leave it at 8.8. Then I'll come to the bolts arrangement. In here, I need to times maybe 50. Then I'll go ahead and click OK. So I have 3 bolts here because we have 1 in default, so plus 2 I will make it 3. So I'll turn that round and slightly we'll leave it at that because this is a training session, and I'm trying just to show you how we can use this COMOSYS to create portal frame, to create any structure, to create connections. Like in this particular case, I'm trying to show you how we can use the tools available in COMOSYS to create a vertical bracing together with the tie beams. So we've created a connection here, but you've noted that there is a collision here. So what we're going to do, we are going to get rid of this plate. So I'm going to select that plate and maybe delete it. Not maybe, I'm going to delete it right away. So you can see we've left the bottom stiffener at the bottom end there. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to select it once again because the bolt type or the bolt size, it's slightly bigger. So I'm going to press M twice, then enter. Then I'll come to bolt section. I'll come to bolts here, and I'll try to check the bolt size. So if I come to figure here, I'll come to parts, I'll come to bolts. Let me just drag that aside. I'm trying to see what's the bolt size. This is M16. M16 is okay. Now, I want to create a similar connection on the opposite direction. So what do? I'm going to select everything here. Then I'm going to do away with this and that. I want to clone this connection to the other end, to this opposite direction. So once I've selected my connection like this, I'll come to this tool called IntelliCon, and then I'll click Clone All. So the moment I click Clone All, there is a warning that at least one joint must be selected. Try again. I'll click OK. Then the joint we are being instructed, if I zoom close, you can see this blue point here. So this is the joint. So I'll press Control and add that joint there. So if I come to Clone All, I'll be able to see there's one unconnected joint found in the model. I'll go ahead and click Proceed and connect that. So from that is not connected to joint, I'll click Ignore. Ignore that. Then if I come here and try rotate this, I'll be able to see that our stiffener is in place, and I don't want that to retain that stiffener. I'll click on that and delete that. So once I've done so, I'm going to select and press M twice, then enter. I want to get rid of that top flange. So what I'm going to do, I'll come to figure and come to full depth main end plates. Then we have fix and extend bolts between flanges, both sided stiffeners, and I'll click that. I'll uncheck that and click apply. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on that and delete. Now, I'll select this, right click and come to copy. I'll select on that spot and place another one there and check whether I have this in place. We can just retain the stiffeners there because there is a slight clash, but it is not really affecting that connection. Now let me just add another one here and add. I've placed so many there. So let me add another one here. Now let me just press copy, select the member, then come to that spot. I'll copy it from that spot and place it right here, and place another one right here, and place another one right here. And also let me come here and place another one right there. I can use copy array. I can use special copy, but sometimes when it initiates copying, it somehow crashes, and I don't want to go into that. Let me just copy it one by one just to avoid a program shutting down, because we are throwing so many instructions to be done in the shortest period of time. So let's just do it the longer way by just copying it one by one. Let me place another one there, and let me place another one here, and let me place another one here, and place another one here, and place another one here. So we're almost there. So let me just add another one right there, and another one right here, and another one right here. So if I zoom close, I'll add another one there, and add another one there. So I'll add another one there. I hope you're getting something out of this. I'll right click to terminate that command by clicking interrupt. So if I come here and try to rotate this, I have my connections in place. So what I'm going to do next is very simple. I'm going now to start placing my bracings. So what I'm going to do, I'll come all the way to steel, then I'll come to vertical bracings. I'll select on vertical bracings. So I'll zoom closer to the bottom end here until I see a red snapping point, which indicates that we are in the right intersection point. So I'll try to snap right in the middle of this particular member. I'll try to snap there, but if we are not able to snap, we'll come back again and try get the midpoint of this particular member right here. Just mouse over until you see a snapping point. Let's just mouse. You're not able to see any snapping point here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a midpoint. You can either create a midpoint in between these 2 points or just mouse over until you see the midpoint. So let me just move on top of this. So I have a midpoint here. So the same midpoint can be picked at the bottom end here. Let me just, for the time being, let me just snap on top there. Then I'll come all the way to this bottom end here. Let me just mouse over until I see that, and do the same thing. I'll come on that spot and snap on that spot and move all the way to the bottom end here until I see that red snap symbol, which indicates that we are on the right intersection point. So I'll snap right there. Right click to terminate that command. Now we want to change this to angle profile. So once I've selected this, I'll press M twice and enter, so that I'll be able to change this profile. I'll click on that profile. Then I'm looking for angled profile. Let me select on that, then minimize that. I'm looking for L-shaped or L profiles. I'll select on that. Then I'm looking for this particular member. I'm looking for 60 by 60 by 4. this would be okay. Equal angles. Then let me just scroll down. I can't see any. Let me just go back. Just zoom or scroll up and minimize that. Let me come to L-shaped here. There's no 60 by 4 millimeter. I'll check on this. I don't see one here. I'll check on this. I must have one here. I have 60, we have 64, we don't have 60 there. So let me minimize and go to another profile. Let me scroll up and start scrolling all the way to a point we'll be able to get one. So we have RSA, and we'll pick on that, and we have 60 by 60 by 4. 60 by 60, 60 by 60 by 4. We have it here. We don't need by 5 there. We can pick on that. Not that one. Either we can just pick 60 by 60 by 6 millimeter thick and select on that. Then we'll go ahead and click apply, and we'll go ahead and click apply. Give it an OK. So in here, we can still change this. You can see this is a single. We can add twin angle or twin profile. So just select everything, double tap M, then enter. Then we'll give an option of twin member, apply and give it an OK here. So we have twin members here, twin angles here, back to back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reorganize it so that we can create a better connection here. So I'm going to create a connection here. So to create a connection there, I'll come to bracing connection here. So I'll pick on bolted gusset plate. I'll select on that member, select on this, and select on that, and click my left button, then click again to terminate that command. So you can see we've created a connection here, attaching our vertical bracing to the tie beam that we had just created. So we want to add another. We want to connect our vertical brace to the column through a gusset plate. So we'll still use the bolted gusset plate tool macro there. Select on that, then select on that, then right click. Then we have our connection created. So if I right click and click interrupt, I'll be able to terminate that command. So I left click and hold and turn this round. So there's some parts that we don't need. We don't need this stiffener. So what we'll do, we'll select on that particular connection, then double tap the M, then click enter to bring this macro connection dialog box. So this is the dialog box for this particular connection. So this is where you modify everything to fit the requirements of this particular joint. So I'll come to parts here, and I'll deactivate this right and left gusset stiffener and apply, and immediately we lose that particular stiffener. So I'll go ahead and close that. Then if I come here, you can see we have the stiffener going all the way to the bottom end. How do we edit this? To edit this, we'll come to edit, then I'll come to cut, then pick on plane cut. I'll select the part I want to cut. I'll select this plate, then I want to cut it. I want to fit it on top of this particular base plate. Then I'll right click to terminate that command. So if I click on this particular member, you'll be able to see that part has been chopped off or trimmed out. So this is fitting nicely. So what we are going to do, we are going to weld this plate to the base plate also, because this part, this gusset plate and the column and the base plate will be a single assembly that will be transported to site. Now I'm in as assembly. Now I want to weld this gusset plate to the base plate. So I'll come to steel here and come to auto weld here. Then I'll weld this plate to this base plate. I'll right click to terminate that command so you can see the symbol of welding there. So that's how I've done it. Now we'll go to the other end. We'll go to the other end and do the same thing. I'll select on that, then pick on that and pick on that and connect. So I'll come back here and double tap M, then click enter on your keyboard, then wait for the dialog box to come up so that we can customize our connection. So I'll come to parts, then deactivate this. Frame stiffener, let me see how it will behave right there, and click apply and give it an OK. And if I come here and try rotate that, it will accept. Now we want to trim this bottom end off. I'll come to weld and steel. I'll first of all cut it off and fit it on top of this base plate. So how do you do that? We come to edit, then under edit you will be able to get the cutting tool here. So we'll pick plane cut. We cut it to the plane of this base plate. Want to fit this plate or this stiffener on top of the base plate. So I'll select the plate I want to cut off, then show or click on the surface I want to fit it on. I'll select on that, then right click and right click once again to terminate that command. So I've placed or I've welded the gusset plate on top of that base plate. So let me add a welding. I'll come to steel, then pick on auto weld, then I'll weld this plate to this plate. That's it, and I'll right click to terminate that command. So you can see I have my vertical bracing in place. So what we can do, we can select the joint and try and copy everything the other end. Let me just try press Control and select everything here. Let me just turn that round and press Control and select everything there. I'll right click on your mouse and hold, then move your mouse. Then you'll be able to rotate your model. Then I'll right click, then pick on copy. Then I'll copy the same thing this far end and place it right there. So let me zoom if I'll be able to see my gusset plates in place. So gusset plates are in place. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to populate them along the length of this particular member. So I'll select everything like that, then press Ctrl, then try and rotate. I'll select everything here, then come here and press Ctrl and select that gusset plate. So I don't know whether you've noticed one thing, because I've selected this member while I forgot to press a control button, so I lost that selection. So let me just continue and select that and try and rotate that. I'll rotate this and come at the bottom end here and select on that member. So I'm going to right click, and also what we can do, we can also try special copy, but since the connections are so many, I don't want uh, to clog or to strain my system. Let me just go one by one and copy on every location. I'll select on that spot and select on that spot. So we have a connection right there, and snap on that spot, and we snap on that spot, and snap on that spot, and we can also snap on that spot. Snap on that spot. So we move until we get to the far end of this particular structure. So we have the members in place. So this is how you can do it. Though you can populate this once you've selected this member, or once you had created this tie beam, it was very simple. You just go ahead and create a vertical bracing, then right click and come to special copy and copy this on the opposite direction. Then copy both of them once again and populate all these along the full length using this tool called using this special copy linear. The same way I did when doing the rafters, same way I did when doing the columns. So that's how we can do it. So let's meet then. I think you've gotten something on how you can place or add vertical bracings and tie beams on a portal frame like this. Thanks, and let's meet then.